Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone at Ruwell. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Those in the gospel, bro, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is a quick lesson through the spirit. I was kind of going into this yesterday on the live stream I did. Going into this unidentified anomalous phenomenon, which is the UAPs. I know I didn't really get a good chance to show you brothers and you few sisters out there a good illustration of what I was going into, but this is what I was actually trying to show brothers, how they have a whole declassified document through government orders and NASA, how they're onto the chariots, which they've been onto this information, okay? Esau just at the point now that he's getting scared because these prophecies are coming to pass. And you know what's so spiritual about it all is that this prophecy is coming into line with the institution of the MOTB and civil unrest in World War III, which the chariots in World War III are all part of the same demographic, if that make any sense, because you're going to have missiles that are being shot off here in Babylon the Great in different parts of the world. And then you're going to have the chariots that's going to show up. All right. And Esau knows through the spirit that this is his demise. This is his end. And this is one thing that he fears the most, is being taken out of power. And this is why these elites are going to go into hiding into these bunkers, because they're going to try to hide off the coming of the Lord, man. OK, so kind of going back into what I was reading yesterday, it says a reference guide, unidentified anomalous phenomenon, which is UAP. And then basically they give you a section here, the UAPs in the news, because now the law enforcement agencies and the news agencies are speaking on these chariots. And they're basically stating that, well, we have these particular vehicles in our possession, and we found particular matter. We found hybrids, which is all fucking bullshit. Okay, you ain't catching no angel, man, all right? You're not catching no angel, and you ain't going to have a chariot in your possession, because we know that these things operate through spiritual means, man. Okay, you're not catching an angel, and all that Area 51 BS is all fucking bullshit. Okay, Esau is a damn liar. And this is why the Most High is getting ready to do away with his ass, you know. But anyway, it says here, spy balloons, drones, and advanced UAPs pose a clear and present danger. Okay, so like I said, they declassified this information about the chariots of the Heavenly Father, and now they're bringing it out because people are, you know, people got cell phones, they got smartphones. You know, as I mentioned, they have particular groups out here in Kansas City alone. I think they go by the name of UFO Watchers or something like that, but they have particular Facebook groups dedicated to this particular ordeal, you know, and which proves that it's not a lie, because last year on the Day of Atonement, okay, this very same day when we was out at camp speaking and prophesied, we saw a chariot fly over our camp, you know, prior to the Day of Atonement, you know, being shut down. And the Lord came, he showed us, man. So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is making moves out here. But anyway, I'm going to read a little bit of it. And it reads, it says, spy balloons, drones, and advanced UAPs pose a clear and present danger. And I remember last year around this time, even before then, they was mentioning about these spy drones, or like these air balloons and stuff like that they've seen circumventing around the skies of America. And they was basically blaming it on the Chinese and the Iranians, and mentioning like this can be a possible cyber attack, and how these other nations, etc., are trying to hack America's global infrastructure, which is all lies and bullshit, you know. But anyway, it says here, the unidentified objects in defended airspaces representing a domain awareness gap. It says this gap possesses a clear and present danger to pilots and our soldiers that is more acute than ever. It says, whereas the Chinese spy balloon was visible to civilians from the ground, and the three other objects shot down by American fighters over Alaska, Canada, and Michigan are following the weekend were only detected after the North American Aerospace Defense Command removed Cold War era filters from its radar. It says previous filters excluded anything too small, too high, and too slow or too fast to be a Soviet bomber or ballistic missile. Okay, so this is going into those drones that they shot down. Okay, in some cases, Esau is basically stating, well, those are chariots. You're not shooting down no chariot, bro. Okay, that's physically impossible, humanly impossible. It's not going to happen. It says this is not the first time that the upgrades to our sensor capabilities reveal unidentified phenomenon in our skies. But it says, but in 2014, when I served in the U.S. Navy, it says my FA/18 squadron and I were operating in a military training range off the coast of Virginia and began witnessing unidentified area phenomenon, UAPs, on a radar and infrared after a generational upgrade to our systems. He says my squadron then started seeing them with their own eyes, including a dramatic near miss. But it says the shoot downs last February marked the first time in 50 years history of NORAD that fighter destroyed objects in our airspace. President Biden did not mince words, but if any object presents a threat to the safety and security of the American people, I will take it down. And that's folly, okay? Because you ain't take down the chariots. And I'm guaranteeing you without a reasonable doubt, you didn't take down no chariots, man. Okay? Because you can't take them down. It's impossible. Okay? These are spiritual beings, spiritual hybrid beings from a different dimension. So you're not taking down the damn thing. That's a lie. But it says, but those of us in the Western U.S. who enjoy vast, often spaces may also be more likely to report UFO sightings, which UFO stands for unidentified flying object. It says a sighting, the new study suggests, but an analysis of unidentified area phenomenon, which is UAPs, reports is a new umbrella term that includes UFOs, not just in the sky, but also in space and underwater. Okay, which proves that those chariots can go underwater, because I remember years ago, I was looking at a video and it was like these F-50 jets. They was chasing this chariot, and this chariot, it came out of the water and it shot across the skies and then it would dive back in the water. You know what I'm saying? And these fighter jets were chasing it down the stream, so to speak, and they couldn't catch up to it. So chariots in the water, they're in outer space, and they're in our particular atmosphere, because the Lord said that his eyes is 10,000 times brighter than the sun. You know? And these are just a bunch of sections and documents that they are mentioning about the chariots, because when you go to section 5, it says UAP in Congress, and it says bipartisan lawmakers unveiled legislation to close the gap in UAP reporting. Okay, but it says here, new legislation proposed by bipartisan lawmakers aims to protect civilian pilots and air personnel who report sightings of unidentified area phenomenon, which is another way of saying UAPs. It says more commonly known as UFOs. It reads, under the Safe Airspace for Americans Act, led by Republicans Robert Garcia and Glenn Groffman, it says pilots are encouraged to provide information to the U.S. government, primarily the Federal Aviation Administration, which will relay reports on the Pentagon's all-domain anomaly resolution in exchange for legal safeguards, okay? Because at a point in time, like pilots and stuff like that fly commercial aircrafts, they wasn't allowed to report on these things, at least to the public, okay? They couldn't tell people because they didn't want to give people a panic. But Esau knows what's up there, okay? And this is why they said, well, look, you have to report this to the Aviation League or whatever you want to call it, you know, which is a form of, I believe it's like a form of the government, you know, the aviation department. So a lot of times when commercial pilots, they see chariots, they're not allowed to say anything. But every time they see it, they have to ping, I believe, these particular signals to these government agencies to let them know. And over the last couple of years, they've stated that it's to the point that pilots don't even report on this shit no more because they're seeing it often, you know? So anyway, I got a couple of precepts here. This is the book of Revelation, the first chapter, because the Bible speaks of what you call UFOs, which are chariots. But anyway, it says, now it come to pass in the 30th year, in the 4th month, and the 5th day of the month, I was among the captives by the river of Chabar, that the heavens were open, and I saw visions of the Most High. And it says, in the 5th day of the month, which was the 5th year of King Jonathan's captivity, the word of Yahweh came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans by the river Chabar. And the hand of the Lord was there upon him, because the Lord gave him a vision. Okay. And it says, and I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and brightness was about it. And out of it, the mist thereof was the color of amber, and out of the mist of fire. So what Ezekiel is explaining, or what he's describing in the vision, is a chariot, a so-called UFO. You even got scholars that adhere to this fact now, because it's such a common thing. Okay, we can go out like sometimes you can feel it. I'll go outside at nighttime, and the air, it has like a particular frequency to it, and I can't really explain it, but you just know that this chair is up there. It's something. It's kind of like an electrified atmosphere almost, if that make any sense. But me and the brothers, we'd be out there, and I'm like, look, chair is gonna show up in there. Show up, man. Let's see. Damn. You know. But anyway, so chair is all around us, man. You know, and sometimes, you know, we go out there. Like it was one year, I think it was last year. It was me and two other brothers. We was doing like a little Thursday camp, or like a little Thursday post up in the park, and we may have seen like 150 chariots, man. From the time we started camp until the time we shut it down, and we stayed maybe like 30-40 minutes after camp, and the chariots, they were just moving, man, moving. You know, I mean, we couldn't even count. There was so many out there. All right. But anyway, it says here, and also in the midst there came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance, and they had the likeness of a man, which proves that the angels could come in the form of men. All right. And it says here, and everyone had 4 faces, and everyone had 4 wings, and their feet were straight feet. It says here, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the soles of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass, which means that they were men of color. And what proved that is when you go into the book of Acts 1:9, when it says that those men that stood there when their disciples was gazing up at the image, or Yahushua going up in the ship, it said that they were men in white apparel. So clearly they didn't stand out for the rest of the Israelites because they looked like them. You know, like that angel that popped up on Walter Zock's camp about 2 months ago. Hey, he looked like a brother, man. You know, now he had a different countenance about him. He had a more stern spirit, and you can tell that he was from a different world. But nonetheless, he came in a semblance of an Israelite. Okay, dark skin, woolly hair, beard, mitri, you know, the brolickness. That's in the scriptures, and we're reading. That's why it says they sparkle like the color of burnished brass, which is a dark skin color. All right. I fucking hate Elon. But it says, and they had the hands of a man under their wings, and on their 4 sides they had their faces and their wings, and their wings were joined to one another, and they turned not where they went, and they went everyone straight forward, because the chariots, they don't navigate in a 3rd dimensional sense. Okay, the chariots, they can go and hit a 90-degree turn and go into full speed, which proves that Esau Edom can't catch the chariots, man. Which proves that he didn't shoot shit down, because these things, I remember it was a report that it was this one guy, he was mentioning that I think he was like a pilot or some shit, and he was basically stating like, well, I think he said a ship was chasing him, and he said the crazy part about it is the ship ended up where he was going to be before he got there. It's like the ship already knew where he was going to be at, man. And you have all types of declassified documents on fighter pilots and commercial pilots and men that was part of the military, whether they was the Air Force. They have all types of declassifications on what they saw out there. Okay, they got one particular documentary on the chariot that's shaped like a TikTok, you know, and just the way that they move, you can tell that they defy Earth's gravity, man, because these are not 3rd dimensional creatures, which proves that Esau Edom, he can't get no goddamn, he can't catch the chariots, man. That's impossible. That's why it says here, and their feet were straight feet, and the soles of their feet were like the soles of calf's foot, which represents strength. And they sparkled like the color of burnished brass, and they had the hands of a man under their wings on their 4 sides, and they had 4 faces in their wings, and their wings were joined one to another, and they turned not where they went, and they went everyone straight forward. And as for the likeness of their faces, they were 4 faces of it says they 4 had the faces of a man, which proves that they look like men. Okay, and they had the face of a lion on the right side, which proves their characteristics, because a lion represents courage, strength, okay, agility, might, power, decadence. And it says, and they 4 had the face of an ox on the left side, which an ox represents strength, and they 4 also had the face of an eagle. Okay, and it says in their faces, it says, and thus were their faces, and their wings were stretched upward, and 2 wings, and every one were joined one to another, and 2 covered their bodies, and they went everyone straight forward, whether the spirit was to go, and they went, and they turned not where they went, meaning because they didn't operate on a left-right frequency. Okay, they was able to move as they wanted. Like if you paid attention to our camp last year, the way that the chariot was moving, it was moving like in the 4th dimensional sense. Okay, it wasn't moving like a car move. You turn left and go right. No, it was hoovering. It was kind of like it's hard to explain it, but it was more like like if you ever seen Goku's Ultra Instinct forming Dragon Ball Z, he was sifting in and out of these portals, man. And that's kind of like what it was. All right. Last precept, because I gotta hit the mic. But anyway, this is the book of Revelation 12 and 12. And Lord's will I come back and do an even more thorough lesson on it. Feel like I'm kind of rushed, but this is Revelation 12 and 12. And it reads, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. But woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down to you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time, right? And this is the reason why he's declassifying these documents. But going up, verses 7, it says, and there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought his angels. And the dragon is talking about this system, this current beast system, this Roman Empire. Okay, and their military, man. This is the Space Force. This is the Air Force. These are all these particular military branches of Esau's military fighting against the chariots or the UFOs. And Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought his angels and prevailed not. Neither was that place found any more in heaven. And that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. And he was casted out into the earth, and his angels were casted out with him, man. Meaning that war in heaven, meaning they had a war in outer space, so to speak. And we're going to be able to detect the war in heaven from where we at, because you can see it through the atmosphere, you know. So this is going to be a literal war between the ships of Yahweh Shem Shai and Esau's military. Okay, basically what we saw in Independence Day. It's going to be like that, but the angels ain't losing. Okay, this ain't no goddamn Hollywood movie. All right, but it says here, and therefore rejoice ye heavens. And matter of fact, nope. And it says, and I heard a loud voice in heaven, now comes salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. All right. So anyway, with that, all praises and glory, honor that's due to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you will edify.